have to use English. And whenever we have assignment, I always choose. Back then, in my class, there wasn't many international students, maybe 5 or 6. But if you go abroad now and study, I'm sure half of the class could be international student. Yeah,
80 or 90%.
or could be that. So choose the field that know. Sometimes people come there to study and want to stay back, so they choose the field that Australian allowed you to stay. Guarantee if you attend those courses, as Hằng said, 80-90% would be international student, and therefore you don't have that opportunity to work with the local. I'm not saying the local students are better. No,
Yep.
they're not better. But what we need is the language. And really, the more, I'm not afraid of doing more work, because the more I do, the more I learn. So I'm happy to partner with the local, because all I need is the language, being able to speak as my own language. So that's one thing. Just have the environment, hang out with locals, and repeat what they say. Try to use and repeat that. Okay, so 3 months. 3 months was studying English. Wasn't enough. I didn't feel confident when I first come into uni. I think the first 3 or 6 months, I would say 6 months, the first year, was just sitting there. Oh, I know it, but how can I say it? You know, that fear inside just stopping you joining, and then with all of the, learning the word at work, hanging out with locals, and if you tell them, they are happy to help you. Yeah, if you tell them, look guys, I really want to improve my English, can I join you guys? And I always pick the best one in the class. Of course, they don't want me, because they never listen, like I never speak up in the class, right? They don't want me to be in their group and infecting their minds. So I just have to tell, look, I know that I really want to be part of you guys so that I can learn the language. And surprisingly, they were very helpful. Yeah, they just said, yeah, come on board. You're more than welcome. And once you overcome that first assignment with the local ones, the subsequent ones are easy. People accept you naturally. Yeah. So just be brave to break that barrier, and yeah, you can achieve your goal. So after 6 months of the first year, I just feel more confident. Now, in the last project, I just feel okay now. I was assigned to the group. I didn't have the choice for the last year project, doing the actual project, building the system for one of the primary school. I didn't have the choice. So luckily, Albert Callum is my boyfriend back then, and somehow his group is just combining all of the good ones. So I actually, and I've got I think three international students in my project, but then I kind of joined both of the project just so that I can be part of that local group and this project. So you just, if you have, I think if there's a will, there will be a way. So as long as you define what you want, and then you'll find a way to do it. So in conclusion, I think that the 3 years studying Australia, I think what I achieved more is the English, not the knowledge that I learned at university. Maybe a little bit. How much do I use at work? Maybe 10% or maybe less. I learned programming, but when I finish and looking for a job, I feel I'm not gonna sit at the computer like 10, 12 hours a day doing coding. I'm not gonna enjoy that. So I choose I'm lucky because when I returned, my English was good. So I chose, I can be a business analyst. Yeah, working directly with the customer, and because I work for America company, so I work directly with people in North America. Yeah, so that was the opportunity. And working with business analysts, I really just use 10 or even less than 10% what I learned at university. So I think the 3 years in Australia was just English. What I achieved was English. Yeah, and just now you can feel, do I think when I speak? Not really. Yeah, I still remember one of my English teachers. He said, "How did you know when you think your English is good?" And she said, if you speak English in your dream, that's when your English is good. Why? Because unconsciously, yeah, you speak the language without thinking. So that may be something that you could observe when the English level is up. You just unconsciously think in English, not translating. Yeah. Okay. Any question? Or anything else that you'd like to know more about my journey? Or maybe a little bit about myself now? Yeah? Okay, so I returned to Vietnam to work because I couldn't stay. So I worked for that company for 4 years, 3 years in Vietnam and 1 year in America. And then I returned again and got married. And I got a choice between living in America or Australia. And I chose Australia just because I feel more peaceful, people not aggressive. I must say people in Australia are more friendly. The weather is better, even though people like, if you go to Melbourne, people complaining, oh, it's like 4 seasons in a day, but compared to America, it's much better. So I won't always like snow. Yeah, you're not living with snow. You said, oh, I love to wake up and the snow is falling and it's beautiful. But when you have to drive to work, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's dirty. It's dangerous. Yeah. So that's why we chose to come back to Australia, because we thought we were gonna start a family, having kids. So end of 2007, we returned to Australia, and we chose Melbourne. My husband wasn't from Melbourne. He was from Alice Springs, just center of Australia, middle of the desert. Because his parents been working there for 40 years. But yeah, he's not gonna live in Australia, in that desert center of Australia. So we chose Melbourne, is where we study and we've got friends and we know the places. And yeah, and we both of us in IT, so we both work in IT. And now, I was so glad that we returned to Vietnam, because it took us 1 week when we returned to Melbourne to get a job. Well, most of my friends who tried to stay in Australia try to do all they can to stay in Australia, doing all sort of jobs, and of course